Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Do we have sound? Testing. Yep. Righto, I'm Kevin Barker from KartSport Nelson, obviously. I'm the president, Dee's the treasurer. It's been a bit of a hard slog actually. Like 3 years ago, Nelson was actually in a bit of a dip. We were getting average of 18 karters to a club day. On a wet day we'd get maybe 9 or something, so it'd be turned into a fun day. So financially our club was not in a good situation. Took a fair bit of thinking about how we're going to change the sport around. Promotions was probably the number one key we did. So we come up with a bit of a, we got quite proactive on promotions, like we use a website, updating that every week, use Facebook probably 3 or 4 times a week, try and get articles in the paper because that's free promotion for us. So we write the article, give it to them, send it in, they put it in, so we normally get a photo on there. So it's quite valuable. And then we come up with a bit of a thing, how are we going to give back to our members, because we want them to come racing. So we started up the thing of let's put up a prize. So we put up a set of tyres for a club day to give away, to entice people to come club day racing and tag your mates in, so they can see that they're going racing, and it just encourages them to come. So one, it promotes their club day via Facebook, and it promotes them to come racing, and then you give away a set of tyres that obviously they're going to have to use them up too. So how we actually do that, we do we sell 50 tickets at $100 each for a sponsorship, so that goes to, we've got, say,
70.
Oh, well, based on 50, we start on 50. So that gives about $5,000 back into the, yeah, she knows. $5,000 comes back into the club, and we actually push that back to our members. It doesn't actually go to us, it goes back to our members. So that pays for our sets of tyres that we give away. It pays for all our trophies, for our trophy meetings, our prize money for the Jason Richards meet, and also a bit of marketing and promo work. So that $5,000 actually doesn't come back into the club, it goes back straight out. How we sell those tickets is, first prize is track naming rights, and then you've got, obviously we've got South Islands this year, so we've got second prize of South Islands, and so on, so on, so on. So we've got about 17 prizes, I think it is. And then with that, we actually make a calendar that goes into shops, goes around fish and chip shops, pubs, Warren fitness stations and all that sort of thing. It's got a calendar on it, and plus all our sponsors that won on it. So they get a bit of bang for their buck. We get a bit of promo work, which is quite good. So the growth we've actually seen in the last couple of years, so this has probably been about 2 to 3 years worth of work, and we've had a huge growth. So we've gone from an average of 18 people per club day to an average of about 40 now. So that's obviously bringing in a lot of revenue back into our club. So that's the marketing side of things. Also the Briggs and Stratton class is a big winner. We've had people from the trade, so Brendan Gridley, he's been pushing that in that aspect. We've tried to assist with that the best we can. They run a Briggs Nelson Facebook page which has a bit of banter, which encourages Briggs racers to go racing. What else we done, Dee?
I've got Wi-Fi finally, and live timing.
Yeah, so Dee's actually done a lot behind the scenes. She's only come on board last year, so she's done all the stuff like online entries, got Wi-Fi at our club. We did a bit of live streaming at one of our race events. What else you done? Oh, she applies for grants. So this year we've managed to get 4 grants, I think it is, through funding. And I don't think we came back with any fails, did we?
Oh, we haven't got the track resealing one yet.
Yeah.
We just put funding in to get our track resealed this year, so we're just waiting to see how that goes. We've got the new mower. What else did we get? Some funding for the South Islands. Steward's room. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Dee, why did the Wi-Fi work? Because that's just for competitors?
No, we've got the Wi-Fi now for live timing and for our race monitor and shop things that weren't working properly before, so just to make things easier.
But just up the experience for the competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. On another sort of promo side of things, like we tried to think a little bit outside of the square. It's a common thing, like if they're not coming to the track, we've actually got to go to them. And the other common motorsport place to go to is actually the Speedway. So we went and approached the Nelson Speedway. When it had a display put up there, we had a couple of carts on the back of a truck go around. I had to talk in the middle about the sport while the commentator asked me some questions. And we had flyers to hand out there. It was, I wouldn't say we got huge membership from it, but it got recognition. So that's probably the key thing we actually want to put out there, that we need people to know that we actually have a track out there, because a lot of people in the public don't know that. So the more we can push it out there, the better. So, yeah, just trying to think what else.
Are all your members on social media?
Not all of them, but probably 90%.
Because I noticed you've got something weird going on there. Like there's the banter and the camaraderie and the, there seems to be a real energy there within the club that's shared quite publicly.
Yeah, we always try and engage with our members through public or social media. So it's going back to that pre-entry thing, like it helps with a lot of things, like you've got an idea of who's actually going to turn up to a race meeting, so you're not stabbing in the dark. People sort of get excited about who they're going to race that weekend and that sort of thing, and it helps with a lot of things like how much stock we need for the shop, how many officials we're going to need, and do we need an ambulance or first aider, or it just, the pre-planning of a race event becomes a lot easier when you know or have a general idea who's coming. Not everyone actually does the pre-registrations, but you get probably 95% people do. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we do all our club days now online entries, so everyone can, well, who's got a licence that is, can enter online, and then we have a pre-printed scrutineering card or confirmation entry card, so when they turn up on the day, they don't have to fill out anything, they just collect their card and take it to get stamped wherever they need to go. And just trying to encourage everyone to use the online system more, because it makes it easy, and the ones that are using it say how good it is. They don't have to worry about money, filling out forms, they just collect their card and away they go.
It slipstreams them, especially for people that like getting to a racing meeting late, like myself.
Like Kev.
It just makes life a lot easier in the mornings. So
Is it through the KartSport New Zealand?
Yes,
Online?
yeah.
Right.
Needs a wee
Yeah.
bit of tweaking though.
yeah. Is there any sort of questions that people want to throw at us that we could give you some ideas of, you can take back to your clubs, of why we've had so much growth or anything like that?
How many meetings a year are you holding?
So we're holding one a month. Basically, the Sunbelts would be our biggest meeting, followed by the Jason Richards meeting. But general club days is one a month. Yep.
Are you playing with the format at all with your club days?
Jason Richards is different.
Yeah, Jason Richards would be our biggest meeting, and that was quite a hard format to sort of nail down to start with. It's taken probably 3 years worth of tweaking, and we think we're on a pretty good formula with that. It's something completely different from CRK format or your 4 grids in a final. So we've got pretty good feedback with that. We also run the night meetings twice a year, but we are definitely going to consider tweaking the formats a little bit more going forward next year.
For your online entries, if someone doesn't enter online, I assume they can enter on the day. Do they pay more, or?
No.
Nah, basically it just gives them, we give them if they enter online, we give them an extra ticket into that tyre draw. So when we draw the tyres at the end of the race meeting, so basically at the end of the race meeting, they've got to be in the club rooms to win the tyres, and they've got to obviously either pay online or do the pre-entry, and if they're not there, we'll just redraw it. So that promotes a bit of social afterwards in the club rooms as well. So it's,
And what's your deadline for entry? Friday night or Saturday night?
yeah, just depending on what day the meeting is, but normally a day or 2 days before.
Yeah.
It throws it out there.
How easy is it for you to get volunteers to help run the day?
We struggle just as much as everybody else. We're probably not ideally situated with volunteers. Like we're in the situation everybody else is, unfortunately. Yeah.
That was going to be my question as well, actually. With the increase in growth, how has that affected your volunteer position?
I find volunteers probably come out of when they've been in the sport a couple of years. So like Dee, she's quite new to the sport. She volunteers probably way too much. So she's done an awesome job. But yeah, we probably, because they're all quite new members, what we've got now, obviously the growth. So we haven't had a lot of volunteers come through, but hopefully going
Will
forward
change.
it will.
What do you do for those volunteers? How do you look after them?
I think probably the same as what most clubs do. So we feed, water them, and give them a few beers at the end of the day. But yeah, treat them with respect is the main key focus. I think works.
The bucket, you have the buckets.
We do.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So I think Brian probably knows a little bit more about the buckets, but they were involved with our club back before I started racing, so it might have been 15 years ago. Well, I've only been in sport 8 years, but they got kicked out through, I'm not sure why, but I think they were too noisy and...
Well, they basically outnumbered us and they could have taken over our club, on top of which they didn't conform to any set of rules. So when we let them back in, we laid down some pretty firm rules about like nylon rubbers and stuff, so when they fall off their bikes they don't muck up the track. We made them associate members of our club so that they couldn't dominate us. And
So they're part of that membership list, membership number?
They are.
Associates, yep.
But we're hoping that they might eventually become members of KartSport so that they can fall under our insurance and everything as well.
And race carts and... Oh no, the buckets will become part of KartSport.
KartSport members.
So what do they do at the moment?
They just have to have their own insurance and stuff.
It's a bit like a demonstration type of thing.
And how many heats do they have?
They get the same
Same.
format as what we do, so they get 5 races a day.
Without them, we wouldn't have actually come through the dip. They actually pulled us through, helped us when we didn't have the karting members.
Yeah. Now we've got a bit of a timetable that's pretty maxed out, but when they came in, yeah, we didn't have much going on. Yeah.
With your bucket bikes, did you have to go and get your resource consent changed, or was it already covered by that? Because that's, a lot of clubs do have the buckets, but for instance, Jack Hawke's Bay, for instance, has been blocked by council in terms of their resource consent, so they can't run the bucket. Did you have a problem with that?
Do you know anything about
No,
that?
we didn't go and do down that track because we'd had them before, so we just ploughed in.
Good on you.
Yeah. It's a common thing. If you actually ask the question, it brings the attention to you doing it. So if they don't know, they don't know.
Well, the council blocked them at Hawke's Bay because of noise, so
Yeah.
you obviously attended to that and they listened, and so therefore it's probably not an issue.
Our club has
They're probably
restrictions.
they're quieter than a Briggs.
We only run 3 days a week because of noise restrictions and between very strict timings. So that's covered. We've already done, we cut back voluntarily on how many days we can use our track. So therefore we don't have any issues with that.
And the bucket bikes actually only come out on a race day. They are allowed to come out and practice, but they don't tend to actually do that. They might only do it.
They run a special muffler that makes less noise. We limited them to the 95 decibels, same as the karts.
So if you have 34 drivers on a race day, how many are buckets and how many are carters?
So you're just under 40 carters, and you're getting about 10 buckets. So we're getting about 50 if you're counting the buckets as well.
I think it's worth us all looking at those options, and I know Wellington would be happy to share their experience with anyone as well, but I think there's probably heaps of other questions. It sounds to me like it's not rocket science. You're just doing a great job. So
Yeah, it's just promotions.
Yep.
King.